The ocean has always created monsters, not just in mythology, but in the human imagination itself. Because there is something deeply terrifying about water we cannot see through. Something ancient hidden beneath dark waves, endless depths, strange sounds beneath ships in the middle of the night, shapes moving just below the surface before disappearing again. And in Icelandic folklore, sailors believed there was something waiting in those freezing waters. Not a beautiful mermaid, not a charming sea spirit, but something feral, something corpse-like. Something that walked ashore on clawed limbs beneath moonlight. It was called the Hafmaður, the Merman. A cryptid said to stand nearly 2 meters tall, about 6 feet 6 inches in height. Witnesses described it with long hind legs bent beneath its body, tiny clawed front limbs, transparent skin, staring round eyes, and a mouth filled with saber-like teeth. It was said to crawl from the sea during storms, hiding in isolated coves and rocky inlets to escape violent weather. And according to legend, seeing one was a warning. A storm was coming, or worse, death. The Hafmaður was believed to be aggressive and impossible to kill. Bullets supposedly passed through it harmlessly. Sailors feared provoking it because the creature would attempt to drive humans back into the sea. Some believe it hated mankind entirely. Others believed it was protecting its territory from intruders. But almost every version of the story agreed on one thing. If you saw the Hafmaður on land, something terrible would follow. Tonight, witches and wanderers, we travel to the freezing coastlines of Iceland, and we meet the nightmare that crawled out of the sea. Hello, and welcome back, witches and wanderers, to the Morbid Witch Podcast, where we explore myths, folklore, legends, cryptids, and the darker stories hidden throughout cultures around the world. I'm your host, Kari Murders. Each episode, we journey into tales of monsters, gods, spirits, hauntings, and the strange beings humanity once believed lurked just beyond the edges of ordinary life. Some of these creatures are tragic, some are mysterious, and some are utterly horrifying. Tonight's episode belongs firmly in that last category, because the Hafmaður, the Icelandic merman, is not the romanticized sea creature modern audiences might imagine. There are no shimmering tales or enchanting songs here. The scripted belongs to cold northern waters, violent storms, isolation, and fear. It is one of those legends that feels born directly from harsh landscapes and dangerous seas. And Iceland is a place where the ocean has always demanded respect. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, it's always good to have you back. To all my witches and wanderers, thank you for being here and continuing to support the show. Every listen, every comment, every rating, and every shared episode helps keep this strange little corner of storytelling alive. I truly appreciate every one of you spending your time here with me. Before we begin, just a quick reminder. If you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. And if you're listening on Spotify, please take a moment to rate the show. Those small actions truly help the podcast continue to grow. You can listen to the Morbid Witch Podcast on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Now, let's sail north into the freezing Atlantic. To understand the Hafmaður, we first need to understand Iceland itself. Iceland is a land shaped by extremes. Volcanoes erupt beneath glaciers. Black sand beaches stretch beneath jagged cliffs. Winter darkness can last for enormous portions of the day, while storms roll across the North Atlantic with terrifying force. Survival in Iceland depended heavily upon the sea. Fishing was essential, travel depended on boats, and the ocean provided both life and death. For sailors navigating freezing waters in small wooden vessels, the sea was unpredictable and deeply feared. Storms could appear suddenly and destroy entire crews. Visibility often vanished beneath fog and snow. Strange sounds echoed across the water at night. In environments like this, folklore naturally developed around unseen dangers lurking beneath the waves. The Hafmaður emerged from this world of uncertainty. Unlike elegant mermaids from later European folklore, Iceland's merman reflected something much darker. It was not seductive or beautiful. It resembled a predatory animal adapted for cold oceans and violent coastlines. The creature belonged to survival horror rather than fantasy romance. Legends described it appearing before storms or disasters at sea. Sailors considered sightings deeply ominous. Seeing the Hafmaður was not merely unusual. It was interpreted as a supernatural warning. And in dangerous environments, warnings mattered. The ocean already killed countless people. The Hafmaður simply gave the danger a face. Descriptions of the Hafmaður are deeply unsettling because the creature feels biologically wrong. Witnesses claimed it stood on long hind legs bent awkwardly beneath its body, reaching roughly 2 meters tall, or about 6 feet 6 inches. Instead of moving gracefully like modern depictions of mermaids, the Hafmaður reportedly lurked and crawled in disturbing, almost insect-like ways. Its front limbs were extremely short, ending in claws rather than hands. This detail made the creature appear less human and more predatory. Some descriptions compare its movements to an animal hauling itself awkwardly across rocks and beaches. The imbalance between its long rear legs and tiny front limbs created a grotesque silhouette, unlike almost any other sea cryptid. Its skin was perhaps the most horrifying feature. Witnesses described it as almost transparent, resembling larvae or pale flesh stretched thin over its body. Combined with its round staring eyes and long saber-like teeth, the creature became something deeply unnatural. It did not resemble a drowned sailor or aquatic humanoid. It resembled a predator evolved in darkness beneath freezing water. The imagery feels closer to deep-sea creatures than traditional folklore beings. Modern audiences often compared the Hafmaður to pale cave animals or abyssal fish adapted to environments without sunlight. That comparison makes the legend even more disturbing, because many real deep-sea animals already appear alien to human eyes. And perhaps that is why the Hafmaður remains so memorable. Because unlike many folkloric creatures, it feels possible in all the wrong ways. According to Icelandic folklore, seeing a Hafmaður at sea was rarely random. The creature functioned as an omen. Sailors believed its appearance warned of approaching storms, shipwrecks, or death. In this way, the cryptid became part monster and part supernatural messenger. This belief makes sense within the realities of maritime life. Storm systems often drive sea creatures toward shore unexpectedly. Strange animals appearing before bad weather may have helped inspire the mythology surrounding the Hafmaður. Over time, coincidence transformed into superstition, and superstition transformed into legend. Stories claim the creature occasionally came ashore during severe weather to seek shelter in isolated coves or rocky beaches. It preferred darkness and avoided crowds or loud sounds. Most sightings occurred at night, usually by fishermen or sailors already exhausted and frightened from dangerous conditions at sea. Importantly, folklore warned people not to harass the creature if encountered on land. Doing so was considered bad luck. This reflects a common theme in many coastal traditions: respect the unknown forces of nature or suffer consequences. The Hafmaður represented more than an animal. It represented the ocean's hostility itself. And according to legend, the creature could become violently aggressive, especially toward humans. Unlike many sea spirits that lure humans through beauty or deception, the Hafmaður was openly hostile. Stories described it as ferocious and territorial. If encountered, it would allegedly attempt to drive people into the ocean, either through intimidation or direct attack. Some legends claim bullets had no effect on the creature. Weapons could not kill it. This detail elevated the Hafmaður from dangerous animal into something supernatural and unstoppable. In folklore, invulnerability often signals that a being belongs to another realm entirely. It cannot be fought using ordinary human means. The creature's hatred of crowds and sharp noises is also interesting. Loud sound may symbolically represent civilization intruding upon wilderness. The Hafmaður belongs to isolated coastlines, dark waters, and storms, not populated settlements. Its appearance becomes a reminder that some parts of the natural world resist human control entirely. There is also something psychologically fascinating about how the creature behaves. Rather than simply attacking outright, it attempts to force humans back into the sea. The ocean itself becomes part of the danger. The creature and the environment work together almost like extensions of one another. And in Icelandic folklore, the sea always wins eventually. Before we continue, witches and wanderers, let's pause for just a moment. Thank you for being here and spending your time with the Morbid Witch Podcast. Whether you're listening late at night, relaxing beneath candlelight, or driving through the dark, I truly appreciate every one of you. Your support, curiosity, and love for strange stories continues to keep the show alive. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, sharing your thoughts and theories about tonight's cryptid. And if you're listening on Spotify, please take a moment to rate the show. You can listen to the Morbid Witch Podcast on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. Now, let's return to Iceland's haunted coastline. Like many cryptid legends, the Hafmaður may have emerged from a mixture of fear, misunderstanding, and real encounters with unusual animals. Icelandic waters contain seals, large fish, decomposing marine animals, and other strange creatures capable of appearing monstrous under the wrong conditions. Poor weather, darkness, and exhaustion could easily distort perception. Some researchers believe sightings may have involved injured sails standing awkwardly along shorelines, or decomposing whale remains washed onto beaches. Others suggest the legend reflects psychological fears associated with isolation and maritime danger, rather than a literal creature. But folklore rarely survives for centuries unless it resonates emotionally, and the Hafmaður clearly did. Part of its enduring power comes from how perfectly it fits Iceland's landscape. This is not a creature that could exist in warm, tropical waters beneath sunlight. It belongs specifically to freezing black oceans, volcanic beaches, and storm-filled skies. The setting itself becomes part of the monster. There is also something primal about amphibious predators in folklore. Humans fear creatures crossing boundaries between worlds, land and sea, life and death, human and animal. The Hafmaður exists precisely within those unsettling spaces. And because of that, it never fully feels impossible. According to folklore, the Hafmaður was last reportedly sighted during the 19th century. As modern technology expanded and scientific understanding of marine life improved, sightings gradually faded. Better ships, stronger coastal communities, and changing cultural beliefs reduced the power these legends once held. And yet, stories about the creature survived. Even after sightings disappeared, the Hafmaður remained embedded within Icelandic folklore as one of the country's strangest sea cryptids. Like many legendary creatures, it shifted from feared reality into cultural memory. But perhaps legends like this never truly vanish. The ocean is still vast, still dangerous, still largely unexplored. Modern science has mapped only a fraction of Earth's deep seas, and new species are discovered constantly. Some are beautiful, others are genuinely horrifying. Transparent skin, massive teeth, glowing eyes, strange limb structures. Nature itself often resembles cryptid folklore more than we like to admit. And somewhere in the freezing dark waters surrounding Iceland, it is easy to imagine something watching from below, waiting for storms, waiting for silence, waiting for the next ship to drift too far into the dark. Thank you for listening to the Morbid Witch Podcast, and thank you to all my witches and wanderers for continuing to support the show. Every listen, every rating, every comment, and every share helps keep these stories alive. I truly appreciate every one of you spending your time here with me. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, make sure you're following the podcast on Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio, and Pandora. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Spotify, please take a moment to rate the show. Until next time, stay strange, stay spooky, and remember, the shadows are always watching.